Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. Alright, guys, on this episode of Bullet Points on this Sunday morning, we have got to talk about an opinion piece that came out of the Washington Post. Now, you guys know on the Bullet Points, we are swinging into the echo chambers of the left, and we are breaking through that thing with a wrecking ball. Because on this opinion piece, again, from the Washington Post, it's all about Gavin Newsom and his push for gun control following the anti-abortion bill in Texas. It's a big thing. We've talked about that, but that's not the main point I want to cover. What I want to cover here is the author of this Washington Post opinion piece is actually utilizing Gavin Newsom's energy as a roadmap for Democrats on gun control, because apparently Democrats just aren't ever on the offense for gun control. I don't know what world that guy's living in, but the whole point here is every time that they come out of the closet and they slip that mask down a little bit and they follow their beliefs, they always end up in the Supreme Court and they always get slapped back a little bit because it boomerangs back on them because they are violating the Constitution. That's what I want to highlight. That's what I want to show you. Everything will be linked in the description box below, including two decisions, Heller and McDonald, which factor into this. And I cannot wait to show you this on the other side of this quick sponsor read, because we've got to thank the sponsor of this video to make this possible. Now, our sponsor, Armed American Supply, is a small, family-run business owned by a retired law enforcement officer and his wife. They design, print, and ship everything in-house from their shop in southern New Jersey. Currently, they have a weekend sale for a huge 30% off site-wide, and that ends tonight at midnight Eastern Standard Time. If you're the type who loves quality Second Amendment and blue-collar apparel, I think you might be interested in checking them out. There's a link in the description box below to let them know that I sent you their way, and I love the support. Thank you so much for checking them out. And now, let's dive into this opinion piece, because I want to show you something, how the left always overreaches, and it always ends up hurting them. That's what we cover on this channel. It's a big focus. Now, I want to show you the article piece, and I'm going to show you a few things. Opinion, this is the title. Gavin Newsom isn't afraid of a fight, and Democrats shouldn't be afraid to emulate that. So they're talking about gun control. But before we get into the actual nuts and bolts, this is something that every time they've gone on their beliefs, this happens. DC ban, they did that. Heller decision, beat them back. Chicago ban, McDonald decision, happened, beat them back. New York may issue laws for concealed carry. The Bruin case is in the Supreme Court right now. Every time they go down this route of moral superiority and, what is the best word? Self-validation of, I can't remember the exact term, but the whole point here is every time they overreach, they get hit. So let's dive into this. I want to show you what's happening. This is from February 22nd. California Governor Newsom isn't afraid of y'all, and by y'all, I mean the gun manufacturers and Republican culture warriors who have gotten quite used to the defensive crouch of Newsom's fellow Democrats. So right out the gate, he's saying Democrats are on the defense. I don't know what is in what they're smoking, but the Democrats have been assaulting the Second Amendment for as long as I've been alive, and I'm not a spring chicken. All right, so let's keep going, because here comes some fawning praise. Newsom's unabashed assertiveness came through when I interviewed him last week at the Del Mar Fairgrounds outside San Diego, where he announced a bill making good on his promise in December to use the model of Texas's recent anti-abortion law, which the Supreme Court declined to block to go after gun makers in his own state. We've talked about that at length. We're not going to hit that again. What we're going to hit on is the actual onus of this article, what they're trying to drive. Newsom's willingness to fight Republicans on their turf is exactly what Democrats need to replicate. Stand strong in your beliefs and fight for them, even if it makes friends nervous and angers the other side. The governor has always operated this way. Again, I'd like to go back to the whole three examples I gave you of DC, McDonald, or the Heller ban, the McDonald decision, and also the May issue Bruin. Every time they do this virtue signaling, that's what I was trying to think of earlier, every time they do this virtue signaling moral superiority move, they always get hit because the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. That's incredibly important. They can try as they might, but they're not going to be able to overcome it until they repeal the Second Amendment, which is a whole different animal. Good luck on that one again, by the way. But this is the part where Newsom actually lets the cat out of the bag, and in this interview, you tell me in the comments field below where the discrepancy goes from complete assertiveness to, we have to do this because it's the right thing to do, to, well, it might not work. Check this out. That's why I couldn't resist asking Newsom, a former mayor of San Francisco, what he thought about the overwhelming recall last week of 3 of the city's school board members who had largely focused on stripping schools of objectionable names. He wasn't the least bit surprised by what happened. Okay, that's interesting. Acting on your passions and beliefs must still be in line with why folks put you in office. Okay, let's just pause that for a second. Did the voters of California put you in office to say, hey, get rid of all guns and make sure you punish them because it's the Second Amendment right? Or what was up there? Also, let's look at different Democrats throughout different states, which this entire article is aiming at. Do you think West Virginians or Arizona, like Sinema and Manchin, are going to go, oh, well, of course we have to be brave and do what we want to do with the Second Amendment, but we also have to fully respect and understand that the people of West Virginia or Arizona sent us here to do a job. Do you see the conflict? Let's keep going. Acting on your passions and beliefs must still be in line with why folks put you in office. Quote, if you are focused more on renaming things than focusing on fundamentally getting to the nuts and bolts of the job that you are hired to do, that's a problem. That's a complete conflict. It's one thing, we're going to do this because we're always on defense and dadgummit everything else. Well, you got to follow what the voters are saying. And the entire point of this article is Democrats need to get in line, even though mainline Democrats, not the far left, mainline Democrats do not agree with gun control. Just saying. Now, let's keep going to this last one. Many Democrats, or more Democrats, need to speak this way. It tells Republicans they aren't as feared as they once were. Again, Democrats have never been shy about their feelings. More importantly, it shows the base that Democrats will no longer cower to the way to which we've become accustomed. They are willing to fight like Republicans for what they believe in. Okay, if that's true, then both sides have this disassociative situation where we both think no one's fighting, but everyone thinks the other side's fighting. I'm just saying. But Democrats have always been on the full-on, full-throttle offensive against gun rights in this country. I don't know what they're smoking. And that's what I've got for you this morning. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field below, and I will see you tonight at the 9 p.m. segment. I'm Braden. See you later.